Good day, everyone. This is Attorney Season. Welcome to Lie Detection Techniques. Okay, so today we'll discuss what is polygraphy, polygraph, lie detector, concepts of polygraph examinations, objectives of polygraph examination, principal uses of polygraph examination, significance of understanding lie detection, lie, deception, detection, fear, stimulus, reaction, response, normal tracing, subject, polygraph examiner, difference between admission and confession, chart or polygraphs, then polygraph examinations. And also the reason why people lie or resort to lie. Okay, so let's go back. So what is polygraphy? So polygraphy is defined as the scientific detection of deception through the use or aid of a polygraph instrument. And also polygraphy, this is a new name of lie detection. So again, polygraphy, it is the process of using polygraph instrument or machine, the polygraph instrument or machine itself to detect deception. So polygraphy is not the instrument, but it is the process, okay, of using polygraph instrument or machine to detect deception. And also polygraphy is also known as the forensic psychophysiology. The word forensic refers to the use of scientific knowledge or methods in solving crimes. Okay? Psychophysiology. Psychophysiology is a branch of psychology which is concerned with the psychological, meaning the mind, and the physiological basis. Okay? Meaning the body. In other words, it's the study of how the mind interfaces with the body. Okay, again, forensic psychophysiology. Psycho means mind and physiology means body. So when a normal person will resort to deception, of course, okay, it will result to what? Change in blood pressure, change in respiration, and also sweating in the hands, which cause galvanic skin, okay, resistance or reflex. Um, Polygraphy is also the new name of lie detection. Lie detection, okay, or lie detector is a popular, you should know this for board exam purposes, it's a popular but misleading name of a polygraph. Again, it is a misnomer, meaning it is a wrong, inaccurate use of a name or term. So the proper term should be polygraphy, not lie detection, not lie detector. Okay, because lie detection or lie detector is a misnomer. It is a wrong and inaccurate use of a name or term, and it is a popular but misleading name of a polygraph or polygraphy. Okay, now let's go to polygraph. It is derived from the two Greek words poly meaning many or more, and graphos, which means writings. Okay, and you should know this. There are two types of polygraph polygraph machine or instrument. We have the analog or the computerized polygraph machine. Okay, now what are the advantages of a computerized polygraph? So tracings are recorded. Again, tracings are recorded which can be viewed and printed in your monitor. Okay, so let's just say the subject, okay, is being questioned by the polygraph examiner. Okay, let's just say again, attach na siya pneumograph, um, cardiosphygmograph, and galvanograph. So, pag-start na sa questioning, on na si polygraph machine. Then, question si polygraph examiner either relevant or irrelevant questions ni subject, and then sa pag-question na ma-record dito sa computerized polygraph ang tracings. Okay? Whether na ay changes sa blood pressure, sa respiration, or nanay na-detect ng electricity sa hands, the GSR, the galvanic skin reflex. So, ma-recorded na dito sa computerized polygraph and you can view it sa monitor nimo. Okay? Sa screen. And then you can print it. Okay? And also, another advantage of a computerized polygraph is that it enables chart scoring, and also it analyzes or interpret the result whether the subject is lying or not. So, ingana ka high-tech ang computerized polygraph. And also, the computerized polygraph detect subtle movements of the subjects. Like nigimok iyang tiil, nigimok iyang kamot, ma-record na sa computerized polygraph. Okay? Unlike sa analog polygraph machine, of course, imo pa nang i-record. So, dapat magpantay ka if na movement si subject, iya bang i-move iyang hand, iya bang i-move iyang feet, etc. So, mas convenient yun ang computerized polygraph kay ma-record niya ang movements sa subject. Okay? And also, another advantage of a computerized polygraph is that it allows the examiner, the polygraph examiner, okay, otherwise known as the polygraphist or the forensic psychophysiologist, to concentrate on the exam. So, iyarang kuan, i-mind is ang examination itself to question the subject. Okay, questions that are answerable by yes or no instead of observing the subject's movement. So wala na na. Di na ka mo kuan nga. Uy, ni katol siya siyang ilong. Okay? Remove siya siyang kamot. Dili na imo i-mind as a polygraph examiner if you'll be using the computerized polygraph. Dili na imo i-mind. Okay? Kaya ma-record na siya automatically by the computerized polygraph. Okay? So, unlike sa analog, imo pa na i-record sa chart yun, sa polygraph chart, mga movements. Okay? So, another advantage of a computer's polygraph, it is that convenient siya. It is convenient and ease of use. Okay? And also, you should take note of this. There are maybe four polygraph users in the Philippines. We have the PAGCOR, take note of this, the National Bureau of Investigation, the Philippine National Police, and the PADPAO. Okay? To this date, the following are the polygraph users in the Philippines. Okay? PAGCOR, NBI, PNP, and PADPAO. Okay? So, kani nga agencies who use of polygraph machine, of course, to obtain additional investigation leads to the facts of the case, especially sa NBI and PNP. Also, to ascertain if a person is telling the truth, okay, or telling a lie. And also, to locate the fruits or tools of the crime and whereabouts of wanted persons. And also, for pre-employment screening. Okay, usually ang NBI mo conduct of polygraph examination sa ilang mga applicants. And also, honesty test. Let's just say, dugay na kaani nga agency. So, kailangan ka i-conduct i-polygraph exam to determine whether or not you're able to spy, to determine if napakay-gilig nga information. Okay? So, polygraph is a device or an instrument capable of recording changes in blood pressure, okay, or pulse speeds or pulse rates, then respiration and galvanic skin reflex or GSR as indicative of emotional excitement. So again, if a normal person lies, of course there will be changes in blood pressure or pulse rate, respiration, and galvanic skin reflex. Okay, that's why ang polygraph examiner na siya yung pneumograph component, meaning it records the respiration of the subject. So if a normal person will lie, of course, there will be changes in respiration. Pwede niya i-control yung breathing and that will be recorded. Okay, sa polygraph machine, either analog or computerized. And also, the galvanograph. It records the galvanic skin reflex of the subject. So that's why nai-attach na finger electrodes sa index and ring finger, okay, of the subject. Because usog daw panington ang atong mga kamot. Okay? And if there's sweating in our fingers, our hands, it will cause galvanic skin reflex na kurente. Okay? And it can be recorded in the polygraph machine. Okay? So that's galvanograph component. It records galvanic skin reflex. And also blood pressure or pulse rate, that's cardiograph. Okay? Cardiograph, one of the components of a polygraph machine is that it records the blood pressure or pulse speeds. Okay, so when a normal person will lie, of course, there will be changes in blood pressure. Okay, unless of course if you're a psychopath, dili ko na ma-record, dili ko na ma-change yung blood pressure because you'll be confident in answering questions. So again, components of a polygraph machine, pneumograph, it records respiration or breathing of the subject. Galvanograph, it records the galvanic skin reflex or GSR of the subject. And cardiograph or cardiosphygmograph, it records the blood pressure or pulse speeds of the subject. Okay. Now, again, what's the difference between polygraphy and polygraph? Again, polygraphy, okay, polygraphy, it is the process. Okay, it's only the process of using a polygraph instrument or machine to detect deception, while polygraph is the instrument itself that detects deception. Again, polygraphy, process of using polygraph instrument or machine to detect deception, while polygraph is the instrument that detects deception. Okay, and also, you should know this, Thomas Jefferson is the first person known to use the term polygraph, polygraphy. He coined the term polygraphy. Again, Thomas Jefferson coined the term polygraphy. For exam purposes, Thomas Jefferson coined the term polygraphy. Okay. Now, what is a lie detector? So again, it is the popular but misleading name of the polygraph machine or polygraph instrument. Okay, it is a misnomer. Lie detector or lie detection, it is considered as a misnomer. It is a wrong or inaccurate use of a name or term. So the proper term should be polygraph. For lie detector, it is polygraph. Okay. And other name of polygraph, that's truth verifier, because a polygraph machine, they say, verifies whether the subject is telling the truth or telling a lie. Okay. We have here concepts of a polygraph examination. Of course, number one, it is used to detect deception of the subject. How? How do you detect deception? By recording the subject's blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration, and galvanic skin resistance or galvanic skin reflex. Okay, because ang polygraph machine na ay gitawag nga pneumograph component which records respiration, okay, the breathing of the subject. Galvanograph which records the skin resistance of the subject or the galvanic skin reflex of the subject. And also the cardiograph or cardiosphygmograph which records the blood pressure or pulse rate of the subject. And also the effectiveness of the polygraph in recording symptoms of deceptions is based on the theory that a conscious mental error effort on the part of a normal person to deceive. Okay, when a normal person deceives, it causes involuntary physiological changes. Physiological meaning bodily changes that are in effect of the body's reaction to an imminent danger to its well-being. That's why there will be when you lie or when you deceive someone, your blood pressure, pulse rate will change or will increase. Your respiration will also increase or maybe na controlled breathing and skin resistance. Mas panington ka. Okay, that's why ma-record na siya sa polygraph instrument, either analog polygraph machine or computerized polygraph machine. Um, we have here the objectives. Objectives meaning goal. The goals of a polygraph examination. Okay, so during polygraph examination, the polygraph examiner, the polygraph or polygraphist or forensic psychophysiologist will ask questions to the subject, either relevant or irrelevant questions, following the general questions test. Okay? So, polygraph examination is conducted in order to obtain additional investigation leads to the facts of the case. That's why the polygraph examiner or polygraphist will ask questions directly to the subject to obtain additional investigation leads. And also, the polygraph examiner, by the use of a polygraph machine, can ascertain if a person is telling the truth. By what? By what? How do you ascertain if a person is telling the truth? Of course, when the polygraph examiner analyzes or interprets the result of the exam. Maybe na siya na-record ito nga changes of the blood pressure or pulse rate, there's changes in the respiration, murag dili na ni normal, so above normal na ang bracing. Also, sa galvanograph, murag dili na gyud normal ni. Nga na. So, pag-analyze and interpret sa polygraph examiner, he can ascertain if a person is telling the truth, okay, or telling a lie. And also to locate the fruits or tools of the crime and whereabouts of the wanted persons. How can a polygraph examiner locate the fruits or tools of the crime and whereabouts of wanted persons? Again, by asking questions that are answerable by yes or no. And also to identify other persons involved. Okay? As a polygraph examiner, you will ask questions as to the identity of other persons involved, including the accomplices, the accessories, or the principals, either by direct participation, by inducement, or by indispensable cooperation. And also to obtain valuable information from reluctant witnesses and to eliminate innocent suspects. So if ma-determine nimo this person is telling the truth, so ma-eliminate na siya. So lain na pong subject ang question. Okay, so that's the objective. That are the objectives of the polygraph examination. Again, principal uses. Okay, asa man gigamit ang polygraph examination? It is an aid in investigating criminal incidents and issues. Of course, it can help speed up the process of investigation of the case in question and to eliminate innocent suspects again and pre-employment screening. So if apply ka sa NPI, so i-undergo good ka o polygraph exam to determine whether or not you're a double spy, maybe. Okay? You're also sa CIA. O na siya, polygraph exam dyan na sila. Including for pre-employment screening and for honesty test. Like for example, dugay na ka sa company and ganahan nila ma-determine whether nag-leak ba kag information during the course of your employment. So we undergo kag polygraph exam. So significance of understanding lie detection. So in every criminal investigation, the truth must be established to ensure proper prosecution. Hugo na yung goal is your goal as a polygraph examiner is to establish the truth. Okay? So that you can properly prosecute the offenders. And in establishing the truth, criminal investigators apply various methods. How? By observation. Okay? Um, nag-sweat ba ka? Ipaningot. Sige ba kang himok dira? Dili ba kang mahimutang? So, based on observation. If you're an honest person, of course, dili gyud ka panington. Okay? Dili ka panington, dili ka mag-stammer when you speak, when you answer. Okay? Stammering meaning you speak with repetitions, kuna-kuna. Then dili po ka mo swear before God that you did not commit an offense. And also, if you're an honest person, if you are telling the truth, um, imong dili ka mang blush, okay? And also, if you're an honest person, maka-look straight ka directly in the eyes of the polygraph examiner. And also, dili mo dilate imong eyes. Okay? And if you're an honest person, dili ka mag tapping or drumming of fingers sa chair kay mong gilingkuran. Okay? Mechanical lie detection through the use of a polygraph instrument and the use of drugs that inhibits the inhibitors like the truth serum method, then hypnosis and interrogation. Okay, that's the significance of understanding lie detection. Okay, definition of terms. What is a lie? So a lie is an untruthful statement, falsehood, anything that deceives or creates a false impression. Lying, okay, should take note of this, refers to telling someone something that is not accurate. Okay? And it is either verbal, isulti, or written. Verbal, just say, na inangota ni mong friend, okay ra akong suot, Brett. Then, sa dili okay, reply ka nga, yes, okay ra. Okay, so that's a white lie, benign lie. Okay, so that's an untruthful statement. So, wag gud ang iyang suot. Okay, so that's considered as a lie. Written, um, gama ka, ni-absent ka, then ipagama ka excuse letter sa iyong professor. Then yung magibutang sa excuse letter nga you are sick. Okay, gilab sick ka. Nya wala ra day, tuwa ra day ka kuan, Boracay, nagbakasyon. Okay, so that's a lie. And according to the Oxford English Dictionary, to lie is to make a deliberate false statement. Okay? This highlights that to lie is to tell someone about something as the truth when in reality it is false. And lying can be verbal or written. People can lie to others for so many reasons, such as to protect themselves from punishments. Like, did you commit this crime? Okay, then you will answer, no, I did not. Uh, to conceal things from others. Wala man ko nangawat, ana. Dili ako ang nangawat. Si Juan Dagway. Okay, that's a lie. To mislead others, even to save others from knowing a bitter reality. So in any case, a lie is something that is false. Lying can be considered as a way of deceiving someone by making them believe that something is false. And this makes lying just one way of deception. So lahi ang lying and deception. Deception is an act of deceiving or misleading, which is accomplished by lying. So deception is a much broader term. It usually refers to causing someone to believe something false as truth. Again, it's causing someone to believe something false as truth. Okay? So what's the difference between lying and deception? Lying is to make a deliberate false statement, and it is usually done verbally or in writing. Okay? Verbal. People lie for many reasons, just to protect themselves from punishments, to conceal things from others, to mislead others, or even to save others from knowing a bitter reality. Like, tsada akong sanina bread. Yes, tsada sa dili. Okay? And deception is causing someone to believe something. Okay? False. Deception can be both intentional or unintentional, in which case the person becomes self-deceived. And deception can take in many forms, such as concealment, propaganda, and distractions. Okay, some example. For example, if I will tell you that I am uh, a monster, of course it is a lie, di ba? Because I'm not a monster. So it is obvious that I am not a monster. So there is no deception. If I say I have done something a million times, it is a lie. Ano mga mubuhat o something a million times? Diba? Grabe ra pod. So that's a lie. Or exaggeration ba of facts. And no one is deceived. So that's lying. Walay, uh, sometimes wala siya deception. Well, ang deception, uh, you are causing to believe something false. Okay, you cause someone to believe something false as true. For example, naninguha ka sa kabayi. Okay, wala ka na ipog. Love, nakuta na siya. Love, good ka mo. Yes. Love, good ka, etc. Yung gipulaan. So there is deception na naglay ka. And also, nag-deceive, imo po siyang i-deceive. Okay? So, deceiving, there's trickery, which is accomplished by lying. How will you deceive? By lying. Okay? There's trickery. Okay? Imong giuwat. Miskan wala ka naibog, mingon ka nga naibog ka. Love kay ikaw, etc. Sa dili. So that's deception. Detection. What's detection? It is the act of discovering the existence or presence of something hidden or obscured, such as a lie. Okay, so how will you detect deception? Okay, if you will relate to lie detection techniques through the use of a polygraph instrument, either analog or computerized. You discover the existence or presence of something hidden or obscured, such as a lie. You detect uh, lies. We have fear. It is an emotional response to a specific danger that appears to go beyond a person's defensive power. What is fear? Okay, fear is an emotion, and if ever mahadlo ka, let's just say nakakommit ka crime, then ikaw may subjects sa polygraph exam. Okay, okay, of course, bation kag fear kay guilty ka, and when there is fear, okay, you will eventually tell a lie. Dili ka mo answer correctly sa mga questions sa polygraph examiner because nahadlo ka that if ever you will admit or confess that you committed the crime in question, you'll be punished. Okay, so that's fear. It's an emotional response to a specific danger relating to lie detection techniques. Emotional response. This is fear. It's an emotion to a specific danger, like questioning. For example, if the subject will be asked a relevant question in the sense that it is a question directly connected to the crime or to the case in question, or that's a specific danger. Of course, pati will fear. Okay, mahadlo ka. And if mahadlo ka, you will tell the lie. Okay, as a defense. What's a stimulus? So stimulus or stimuli is a force or motion reaching the organism, the person, and excites the receptors of the person. So again, it refers to any outside force coming from the environment which could excite a receptor or any of his organs. Example of a stimulus or stimuli relating to lie detection techniques. It is the question itself. Okay, during the polygraph examination again, the polygraph examiner may use or may question you. Okay, either relevant or irrelevant questions. And if a question gani kag relevant questions, that is considered as a stimuli. It's an outside force, okay, coming from the environment or coming from the polygraph examiner or polygraphist, which could excite a receptor. So if makadungog na gani ka, if a question na gani ka relevant question, of course it will excite your receptor. That's why ang relevant question is considered as a stimulus or stimuli. Reaction. It is an action in mental attitude. It evokes by external influence. So reaction, of course, mental attitude. What's the example of a reaction? It is fear. Okay, it is fear. Reactions are done on impulse without putting much thought into it and considering what the end result may be. So what's your reaction if you will be propounded by a relevant question? Of course, your reaction is fear. Hadlo ka. And also, response. It is an activity or inhibition of the previous activity of an organism resulting from stimulation. So, It can be defined as saying something in reply to an action or statement. So if you question kag relevant question, then mo reply ka, that's your response. Okay? It is by answering yes or no. Okay? So response is any activity or inhibition of the previous activity of an organism resulting from stimulation. So response is something in reply to a statement or to a question. Ni-reply ka sa question sa polygraph examiner. Yes, I did not commit the crime. No or yes. Okay? So response is more thoughtful and done with reasoning. Of course, when you answer a question, syempre imo ko na hunaon. Otherwise, if di na mo nahunaon, pwede na noon ka mag-guilty ana, mo confess na noon. So dapat ang imong response is more thoughtful or done with reasoning. So again, difference between stimulus, reaction, and response is that stimulus relating to lie detection techniques, it is the question refers to any outside force coming from the environment which could excite the receptor. So if you will be asked a relevant question or questions directly related to the case in questions, of course, ma-excite ang imong receptor. Then reaction, it is mental attitude evoked by external influence. So if i-question ka, in-excite ang mga receptors, what's your reaction? Fear, mahadlok na noon ka, and then response, okay, that's your answer to the question of the polygraph examiner. Okay, you'll answer yes or no. Okay, so that's a response. Um, Next, we have a specific response. Is any deviation from the normal tracing of the subjects? Okay, so first, in questioning Manggod, the subject, polygraph examiner should ask first irrelevant questions or questions not relating to the case, like what is your name, etc. What is your age, where do you live? Okay, para makuha nimo ang normal tracing of the subject. Okay, of course, if mo tanong nimo siya sa iyang name, age, or any questions that is not related to the case in question, dili ko na siya maglay. He will tell the truth. So, ma-record nimo ang iyang normal tracing. Okay? And if propounda na ganit nimo siya mga relevant questions, of course, mo deviate na guna sa normal tracing. Like, did you commit this crime? Where naba is this the gun that you used during the commission of the crime, etc. So, would deviate na siya sa normal tracing kay magtanay involuntary changes sa imong blood pressure, sa imong GSR, or sa imong pulse rate or heartbeat. So that's the specific response. Deviation from the normal tracing. Deviate na kay naglay na ka, i-propounda na ka relevant question and you lied. Okay? Normal tracing, of course, tracing the short wherein the subject answered in the irrelevant question. So, normal tracing, meaning irrelevant question naman. So, wala na hadlok si subject, wala siya naglay, tell her siya truth. Is your name Juan de la Cruz? Yes. Okay. Is your age 25? Do you live in Bantayan, Dumaguete City? Yes. So, normal tracing na. Again, normal tracing of specific response, normal tracing, wherein the subject answered in the irrelevant question. So, wala naglay sa subject aning mga panahon na. So, normal ang chart tracing. Okay? Specific response when the subject is asked relevant questions na. Relevant questions. So, there's a possibility that na deviation from the normal tracing because if a person will lie, again, na changes sa iyang body. Like the respiration, pulse rate, heartbeat, and the GSR. Subject. Well, who is a subject? It refers to any person undergoing polygraph examination. He may be a suspect, okay? complainant, and witnesses. Okay? It could be a subject. Or the victims or relatives of the victim or suspect in cases of criminal investigation or interrogation. So during criminal investigation, of course, as a criminal investigator, himugong ipa-polygraph exam ang mga suspect, complainants, and witnesses. Okay? To aid in investigating the crime in question. Okay? Or subject may be an aspiring job applicant, like mo-apply ka sa NBI or CAA, pre-employment screening, polygraph exam dyan ka. Okay, so in case of employment in the government or private institution, undergoing screening through loyalty test or integrity check. So subject, polygraph examiner or polygraphist or forensic psychophysiologist. It is the one conducting the test. Siya mo'y mo-ask og general questions test, either na ba na relevant or irrelevant questions sa subject. Okay, so that's a polygraph examiner. Admission and confession. What's the difference between admission or confession? It is a self-incriminating. Admission is a self-incriminating statement falling short of an acknowledgement of guilt. Okay. Um, ikaw, um, ikaw ba ang gapatay sa victim? Then, ingon si accused. No, Your Honor. But si Juan tong gapatay. Igo ra ko gatanaw. So that's an admission. Self-incriminating statement falling short of an acknowledgement of guilt. Wala niya i-acknowledge nga siya gapatay. But iyang kauban nga si Juan. Okay? So confession is a voluntary statement made a person given to the proper authorities wherein he acknowledged himself to be guilty of an offense and disclose the circumstances of his felonious acts. Your Honor, I will confess, okay, I did commit the crime of murder. I killed the victim, I stabbed him several times on the chest, and I hid the weapon that I used in the commission of a crime in my house below my bed. Okay, you can find it there. So, iyang gi-disclose ta ng circumstances of his felonious acts. Iyang gi-acknowledge nga guilty siya sa offense. Nga siya nakakommit sa crime and gi-disclose niya ang circumstances. Giyon sa niya pag-stab, etc. So that's confession. Again, admission versus confession. Admission is the statement of facts, not necessarily acknowledging guilt. Statement of facts. You stated facts without acknowledging guilt. And there are two types of admissions. You should remember this. Extrajudicial admission and judicial admission. What's the difference? Extrajudicial admission is an admission made outside the court. Gawa sa korte. Okay? And maybe sa police station, dito ka ni-admit. And we have here judicial admission, meaning you admitted inside court, okay, during trial. Okay, so again, extrajudicial admission, outside court, judicial admission, inside court. In extrajudicial admission, is ang pag-confess sa suspect or respondent nga part siya sa nahitabo krimen but dili daw siya gapatay. Like wala siya ni statement of facts ba? Yes, part ko. Kauban ko. Ana mga panghitabo. Okay? Na ako'y kinalaman ana ang krimen pero wala niya giangkon. Okay? So it's just statement of facts. Wala siya ni confess. Okay? As to his guilt to the crime in question. Okay? So again, dapat kabalo mo kung saan paggamit ani nga terms. Suspect, respondent, and accused. Suspect gani if naapa sa law enforcement stage or law enforcement pillar. Suspect ang term ana. And then if naanay prosecution, naanay information nga gi-file or complaint, respondent na ang tawag ana. Okay, sa suspect. So from suspect, nahimo na siyang respondent pag na sa prosecution pillar. And then if na sa court pillar, accused na nang tawag ana. Accused, akusado. Again, suspect, respondent, accused. Suspect, law enforcement pillar. Respondent, prosecution pillar. Accused, the court pillar. Okay? And judicial admission is ang pag-angkon sa accused nga naa siya'y kinalaman sa crime. But wala niya giangkon nga siya ang ga-commit sa crime. Yes, na ako'y kinalaman. Maybe I'm an accomplice ra, etc. But dili ako yung nagpatay. Statement ra ba? So confession is the acknowledgement of guilt of the offense charge. And just like admission, ano siya two kinds, extrajudicial confession and judicial confession. Extrajudicial meaning they confess the accused outside court, maybe sa police station or sa iyang balay. I-aresto siya dito. Or judicial confession, meaning confession inside court during trial. So in extrajudicial confession, niangkon si suspect, okay, or respondent nga siya mismo ang nag-commit sa crime. Okay? Like siya mo'y gapatay aning bayana, siya mo'y ga-rape, etc. Iyang gi-disclose tanang circumstances, giunsa niya pagpatay, giunsa niya pag-rape, asa niya gitago tong iyang evidence. So that's confession. Admission, self-incriminating statement. Like part ka sa crime, part ka, but dili ikaw gyud ang nag-commit. So self-incriminating statement. Pero wala ka ni angkon. Chart or polygrams, it refers to the composite record of the pneumograph, galvanograph, and cardiosphygmograph tracing recorded from 1 series of questions. Okay, katuning polygraph chart. Polygraph chart meaning limpyo pa, wala pa isulat. Polygrams meaning naisulat na yung mga tracings. Okay, so composite record of the pneumograph, galvanograph, and cardiosphygmograph tracing. Polygraph examination, of course, it is undertaken by asking questions skillfully formulated while the subject is attached to the polygraph instrument. So, conduct of polygraph examination is the polygraph examiner or polygraphist. And these questions are answerable by yes or no. Okay? And then after that, ang tracings will be interpreted by the polygraph examiner. Or pwede ra po si computerized polygraph ra ang mo analyze or interpret sa result. Okay? Analog, of course, the polygraph examiner give me interpret. Okay? Why do people lie? People lie because they fear detection. Because detection would result to embarrassment and of course penalty or punishment. Because ma-detect kang lie, okay, ma-penalize ka. Okay, pwede pa kang mapriso. And thus placing his whole life at stake. So that would be all. Thank you everyone for listening.